Welcome to Fatherhood Unity Month, brought to you by Campaign for Black Male Achievement and United Way. Today, our special guest is John Miles of the Children's Center, Fatherhood Coordinator, Wayne County. This man is my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kelvin Mann, President and founder of Encourage Me, I'm Young and Good Fathers Only. Today is all about fatherhood. John Miles, welcome.
Well, thank you, my brother. I guess you can say happy belated Father's Day to you and all those who are in attendance too. Dude, you've been my friend, you've been my partner, and you know, we've had some real great conversations, you know, but really I appreciate to be able to be part of this June celebration, which is going to continue on. We're not just going to stop in June, we're going to keep it moving. But to be a part of something like this, you know, this Legacy Week, man, I'm humble, you know, and you know I'm always there for you, bro. I'm always there for you.
Yeah, we they don't know, John. You say show, we show, you know. They don't know, you know. But you know, let's get right into it. The Fatherhood Connection. This is your baby, and what is it about?
Yeah, the Fatherhood Connection, you know, just like in the opening in regards to my position, you know, I coordinate the Wayne County Fatherhood Initiative, you know, and in that role, you know, I'm supported by, you know, the Children's Center and Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, you know. So in that role, you know, I'm more of a building partnerships with organizations like yourself from the ground level, and then community mental health agencies also, you know. And in that, I'm connecting the dots, you know, to help support those services, those programs, you know, that are geared towards dads. Sometimes the dads just don't know about it. So, you know, not only creating the partnership, but then trying to take those programs and services and get them promoted. You know, one of the difficult things that I see really is that, you know, a lot of dads just don't know where to go. You know, so, you know, here we are there in the trenches doing events, creating flyers, getting resource and materials, trying to get them out, you know. So, hey, I'm helping, I'm bagging up, you know, those agencies, you know, and organizations that's, you know, hey, I like true to the game and helping out dads, you know. Also, you know, in that regards, it's the education part of it where, you know, you've been a part of a lot of the events that we do and that those I support, you know, that is, once sometimes things are going on, the dad just truly doesn't understand how a process works, how certain policies are sometimes geared against them, and they need a little bit more understanding. So, you know, we do our best in regards to taking that partnership, getting those individuals that who will do a presentation to those dads, you know, and educating us all at the same time. But you hit on my baby, Fatherhood Connection. I needed a platform where, even though we're discussing dads, this is for all men, you know. I needed something whereas, as we've gone out on different forums across the country, you know, you meet and you connect with other individuals, with other dads, with other advocates that's going, you know, that's going out there trying to work in their community. And we began to have an exchange of ideas of, you know, having those real conversations of, this is what's going on in my area. You know, these are some of the successes, these are some of the failures. And a lot of these individuals, I do end up getting them, you know, to come to my own fatherhood forum. But those conversations away from the microphone, those conversations that you're sitting down and you really is just engaging deeply in regards to not only how you personally feel, but how it has affected you. So I was thinking, I need a platform like that, Calvin, I've seen yours with Daddy's Talk, and you was like, hey, some of the interviews that you've done were like, you were knocking them out the park. And I'm like, okay, I need something like that, but I can't just be Calvin Man, because Calvin Man is Calvin Man. I needed something in regards to how I'm comfortable in engaging. And sometimes looking at some of these presenters on the stage, you get your idea, you get your view in regards to their knowledge, but you have to remember a lot of times they're discussing that topic. You don't know personally some of the challenges that they've gone through. So I sat down and really put in the thought, I need something where I can reach out to more people, to more individuals, and bring those presenters in where I can really have a casual conversation, a real sit down, where we're just two guys, just having a conversation in regards to what's going on in today's world, along with in regards to our travels through fatherhood. I came up with the Fatherhood Connections. It's really, it's a dual platform. We have our Fatherhood Connections Facebook page, where I serve the purpose in regards to providing resources, providing videos, just a lot of information from other groups and their pages on, positive information, to help support dads, positive images, to help push dads. It became really effective during this time in regards to dealing with COVID-19, where, a lot of dads, they were sitting at home and really trying to deal with that challenge, trying to figure out little tips that can help and support them. So all that information was being pushed on that page, and I said, okay, now let me look at the other end. The other end really on that platform is webinar series that's dedicated and geared towards having those sit-down conversations, not only with the professional dads that's out there that's advocating, but some of the real dads, and really getting them to express what they're going through, their personal feelings. So that will actually start in July, and it kicks off. I'm calling it, since it's July 1st, is every Wednesday of the month. And we're kicking it off on July 1st. So that's going to be our Independence Day in regards to real conversations with men like yourself and dads across the country, So that's where I got that from.
Well, I'm ready. I personally, I don't know, had you had a chance to listen to the interview from Great Britain, and
wonderful interview.
Thank you, brother. Brother Michael, you're gonna have to show your face, brother, if you can.
Hey, I'm gonna have to change my decal. How's everybody doing?
Good,
I'm gonna find another device, bro.
Come on, brother Aaron.
Okay. Okay.
I get a face shot, man, before I get out of here. So let me do that. Let me do that real quick. I'll be right back with y'all. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah. So for us, it means something. Like one thing I recognize about your consistency, your work, is Fatherhood Connection. We're always entertaining, changing. There's some other tools that we're always getting, like, God bless me, a lot of information I'm getting before we even get into the right. And so I'm just really absorbent about the information. I get this feeling that you would do this, right? That you would do this out of passion. Like it was something that you would do because of your story, what you've been through, how you've seen things. And I think that's what fuels us all. My question to you is, Fatherhood Connection is, let's say we got 25,000 people, it's Fatherhood Connection. What is your main goal for Fatherhood Connection, to, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? What's your main goal for Fatherhood Connection? I know you got, the connections, but what you really want to do with Fatherhood Connection is my question.
Well, what I really want to do, and it's being real. I mean, that's one of the things I think that we have always discussed when it comes down to when we have our fatherhood groups.
Yeah.
To be transparent, really, to be real. And one of the things I discovered, and this is not just geared to one particular area of community. Like I said, we've traveled, and some of the guys that I really connected to, because, to be truthful, there are two sets and they're separate in regards to their focus in regards to fatherhood. Now, don't get me wrong, they are there. Both sets are there in regards to, I want to promote, I want to educate our fathers, and I want to give them the information that they need. But when it comes to the passion portion and to say that you walk the walk, I've had deeper conversations with those individuals that in some time in their life, they had to go through the system. Penitentiary, jail, whatever it can, they went through the system. So to be able to connect with that everyday dad, to say, that dad that I can't find a job, and when I do find a job, as soon as I check the box in regards to have I've ever did any time or something else that really blocks them, those individuals were able to really connect with a person that, yes, I've advocated for the majority of my life in regards to working with dads and fathers, but deep down inside, to let you know, I can tell you through experience the walk that I've taken, and I understand, and I can connect with you. It's those individuals that I want to make a big part of the Fatherhood Connection, to hear these real life stories, to hear in regards to the suffering that they may have went through, the challenges that they may have went through. There's that, and I see my brother from another mother, Michael Aaron, is on right now. He's a dad whose child has behavior issues, okay? And to hear him speak passionately, to another dad, to say, I know what you go through. I know what it feels like when you wake up in the morning and you have to work with that child while you're trying to get yourself together, while you're trying to get the household together. I know the walk in regards to when I'm taking my child to either school or I'm taking them to get their services, and I'm there. I know the struggle. At the same time, I know the struggle in regards to trying to work and provide and make sure that there's a roof over our heads. To hear that story, I've seen those stories where it's passionate enough that it reaches other dads and they open up, but they also see the hope in regards to, what, if that brother right there has gone through what he's gone through and then has the time to advocate and then has the time to listen, then, they've served their purpose. That's where I want to see Fatherhood Connection at, in regards to, you can have dads who can really look at Fatherhood Connection and feel truly connected, feeling like, this is not some watered over, this is not some Showtime, this is not some I'm doing this just to get paid, whatever the case may be. This is coming from somebody's heart.
Well, you know, that's what we do. Brother Michael,
Yeah, how you doing, brother?
I'm super, brother. How about yourself, man?
Man, I can't complain too much, man. It's not gonna change too much. And I know it's a long line of people that's probably in front of me that got them complaints in before I did. So
All right.
That's what's up. John, you know, with Michael being on, that mean this thing about to get kind of, you know. So
Okay, and I have him on board as another guest too. Like I said, we've had some, and I really think we have a very interesting fraternity of brothers, you know, because we really have, we deal with the system itself, you know, when it comes to being able to provide platforms like this, you know, there is a financial issue, you know, and we have to reach out and to acquire those funds. But when we come together and we have those conversations where it gets personal, you know, a lot of individuals, and we as males are like that. We do not like to reveal weaknesses because in the way we've been brought up, if you tell somebody your weakness is, now you open yourself up for anything and everything, and you need to appear strong at all times. Well, one of the biggest strengths you have is to admit to having a weakness. You know, I've had those discussions with my children who are grown now, you know, and yes, they consider us to be super dads and this, that, and other. So if we ever tend to fail somewhere, now, and you know, if you haven't raised them correctly or haven't had those conversations, when they see you fail, then they feel like, well, you know, if dad couldn't make it, then there's no hope for me. No, I'm your super dad. But just like Superman, there's kryptonite that comes up every now and then. but you have a plan in regards to, I'm not going to stay down. I'm going to work my way around. And that's when I say in regards to the fraternity of brotherhood that we have, it might be a day when I may be talking to you, Calvin. I'm saying, you know what? I don't know how this thing's going to turn out, dude. I've knocked on this door, I've knocked on that door. And you would say, hey, dude, I got your back, you know. And we support each other like that. We need more like that. We've had conversations in regards to the silos, you know, and when we tend to work against each other, we just create another problem.
it's another problem.
You know, another problem.
Yeah.
Another problem. Yeah. It actually, it flows into the traditions. I was on a call, was watching how these men were talking about, you know, men and black men and how we, you know, and our differences and what we see and things like. And so for me, it was okay, but I'd rather take the lead, right? So here's an area where we're taking the lead. Here's a discussion, right? Because we can get into the little pockets and the little people, because people act like that because of the money. The money forces them to act that way, right? It's a little bit of money. So we make ourselves, this is why I go, and I keep going. Because if I got to count on that money, right? If I got to count on that situation, or right? So we have to be innovative. We have to, as I said before, you have to recreate, right? Because essentially, if we don't control this narrative, this is why I yell unite fatherhood. Essentially, if we don't control our narrative, fatherhood doesn't get better. And we can have that conversation next Monday, because I want to bring as many of y'all back as possible. But you know, what's next for us? You know, so I'm not really, you know, the one that likes to wait. Um, you know, some people like to wait. You know me, I know you, I don't like to wait. Um, when we was kids, Michael, wait is what tore the bridge down. You know what I mean? So that was our little thing. So I don't like to wait. And I just think it's important that we keep coming together. Like you were saying, we have to keep coming together. We have to support each other because what happens is that uh, a lot of fathers are only searching, right? It's the law of recency. So I'm in this trouble. I need this help. As soon as I get the help, I'm going right back to the BS. I'm going right back to the bull. I'm going right back to you see what I'm saying? Whereas, okay, I got this, so I interview men, and when it's about child support, you know what I mean? If you're not fighting for that time, Cal, I refer them to somebody else. That's just me. I need you to fight for that time because that time is very, 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 very important. Which is why we came together in a policy group, right? Because it's that time that child needs you. Your money comes with you, but that child needs you. The system wants that money, sure, but that time you got to fight for, which is the issue as to what is really wrong with our boys, which is why I dove right before I even got into fatherhood. I was already understanding that the boys were in trouble and the youth were in trouble. And I walked into Fatherhood Solutions. So, Brother Aaron, how do you feel, right, about like we were talking just now, the silos, what do you think is going to take for us to continue to move together? Because me and John, we work. You know what I mean? That's my man. Like, I'm
Absolutely.
going. You know what I mean? So,
Man, I think Cal, first and foremost, like how you look at some drug addicts, right? Until that drug addict can look at themselves in the mirror and understand that they have an issue, they can have all types of therapists talking to them, taking them to meetings, doing things of that nature. But until that addict looks at himself in the mirror and says, "Hey, I got a problem. I need help. I need to deal with this issue," and understands that it is an issue, it may not work out. You know what I mean? So I think men have to first and foremost understand that we have an issue in regards to being leaders in the family, being heads of households, being positive role models for our children, right? We understand that we have an issue with that. And it's a lot of reasons as to why that issue is what it is. Abandonment, we've dealt with it ourselves. This is how we were raised. We don't know no better. Relationship issues, co-parenting issues, so on and so forth. Cal, we know it's a ton of things that we can line up and say that that's the reason why this gentleman did not stay. But until we realize and understand that we are responsible, or we have a responsibility and creating a better balance in the nation as men, until we realize that and step up and I can, but I shouldn't allow you and John to do all the work. And I'm standing here right near you guys where I can pitch in and grab my rake and join you. I shouldn't allow you guys to sit here and do all the work, because it's a couple things that's gonna happen. I'm gonna learn what y'all are fighting about while I join you, and we having a dialogue or whatnot. I'm gonna learn what the fight is about, and then I can also learn that information to go share it with other men. And like we talked about this already, that's what we're not doing right now. I got a pot of gold, bro. I'm gonna hoard it as long as I possibly can, as opposed to sharing it with another brother. Maybe it's gonna chip away a little bit from my pot of gold, but I still got a nice little surplus. I gotta get that up, man. I gotta get that to that next man, because ain't no telling what his situation is. There's no telling. We can look at a man and look at him from the outside, Cal, and he might look like everything going on perfect in his life, but it could be the total opposite. You know what I mean? How we approach that man and how we deal with that man, it can't just be based upon a look. It needs to be based upon a feel of brotherhood, a feel of togetherness. And at this point, we really still don't have that group of togetherness yet. When I pass you the baton, you're not looking at the baton trying to figure out what to do with it. You done grabbed it and started running, because we already know what the mission is. We already know what it is that we need to try to get done. And I think more men more men have to sign on. More men have to attack this gauntlet, man. More men have to get on here and say, you know what? Yeah, I wasn't right. Be it whatever the circumstance may be, and then we can't be afraid to ask for help, Cal. And that's where we at right now. Right now, I might be suffering through something, and instead of asking you and John for help, I'd rather just beat myself up and accept my fate. And we can't do that as men, man. We've done it too long. We got to start asking for help, receiving the help, and then doing something with the help when it's available.
Well, you can ask us, because we most definitely, we got out on the day. The phone ring, hey, Cal, you know what I mean? And that's how we work, you know what I mean? I just think it's so important, and John, you can chime in on this, but it is so important that we do grab each other's hand and heart, right? And we do take that hand, we do take that heart, and we do expound on sharing as much as that information as possible. And we make sure that whatever tool it is that you have, right? Hey, Cal, I got this over here. Hey, Cal, you got this? Oh, yeah, we got 2 and a 1 over here. All right, here's the number. Right. Boom, and it went like that. That didn't cost us not $1. Go ahead, John.
And you know, bro, I can't tell you how many of the brothers that I work with lost their position. They're the coordinator for whatever agency that they're working with, lost their position, you know, and still was trying to help and support. But see, when it came in regards to on my back, my responsibility, you know, I have to stay in touch with that brother. I'm like, hey, dude, you know, before you got to shut down your agency email, send me your email. Give me your phone number. And they still reach out and come back and connect. You know, like I said, we got to think outside the box. You know, we've been so trapped within a box in regards to this is what's going to happen, particularly with child support. It's like they have no vision. They've gone by the stories that they've heard over the years in regards to what's going to happen, what you're going to go through. And what it does is traps that male into thinking, well, you know what? I'm not even going to deal with this situation. I'm not going to open up that mail. I'm not going to try to communicate with that mom.
Yeah.
No, that's what's in your control. Opening up that letter, reading through, getting support. Hey, like they do, call us. Hey, Mr. Man, I got this letter. I'm trying to figure it out. What do I do? What direction? Can you give me some guidance? Do it. You know, communicate in regards to that mother, whether y'all together or not. Because, see, the product of y'all union had nothing to do with what's going on between y'all two, period.
Right.
You have to basically really look deep into, and I always go back to my whole thing's always been decision making those just and correct decisions, thinking it through, A through Z, plus some more letters if you want to add it on from there. But think it through in regards to what you're doing. Being logical. Don't let the emotion talk for you. See, we got a problem because, you know, we feel like, you know, well, my purpose here is to, you know, create a child, and then, you know, I got to handle my business. Well, that child is part of your business, bro, no matter what. Yes, we are here to help you, but you got to start thinking in regards to the decisions that you make. And when we open up and tell you about the decisions we made, we're not perfect. We are not perfect by a long shot, but we've learned over the years. That's why we're in the position that we are now. As a matter of fact, we got a lot of men. I know, Calvin, you done talked to a whole bunch that's out there that's not leading an organization, not leading a fatherhood program. But when you listen to them and you listen to their knowledge, oh, you bring them in because it's like, dude, I can use you. You have the gifts, you know, and we need to stop looking at where you are in regards to your position, in regards to seeking support and help. Just like what Mike just said, you know, we got to reach out. Sometimes it's not the individuals who's employed at an organization or agency, it's that young man that just walks in and say, hey, you know what? I got an idea. I got the energy. What can I do to help and support so we can get this going and keep it moving?
Yeah. So then when you take a look at that, so like Mike was saying, and like you were saying, right? And I'm glad my brother Chris is on, right? So, right now that takes us back to the other part of that, John, literacy. These are other things that we can do collectively as men, even around the literacy piece. See, because I really can't read that letter, right? I'm on breast milk, a hot meal, spoil, video game. You know what I mean? I've been in the crib, right? Kept away. I'm an alienated kid that turned into a man, right? And so now I don't have nothing, no skills. I'm still on the milk. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking for a woman to take care of me versus me even having that process because that's how I grew up. I grew up in that environment, but I didn't, there's no literacy. So that's another thing that you and Michael and us, me and Chris, we've talked about that we have to take into our hands. See, because for me, and for the men, like you saying about connections. So Michael's agency, your agency, my agency, right? The whole fatherhood movement collection. This is why, again, I say we unite fatherhood. So now when we host an event, hey, you need to learn how to read is there, right? You got to go for this because you're going to need this to do this. So you read, right? So you need to learn how to read, right? Because reading is life. We have to keep those things on our men because the fathers in this area make up the biggest margin of illiteracy. So now you see, so now I'm a dad, that's recorded on my DNA. I give life to a child, and on my DNA code, there's no reading. You see, I read an article where it talked about how reading, even as a young person, fathers should be reading in front of their kids through middle school and high school, right? In order for the child to really understand how important reading is. So that's just on the literacy aspect, right? Let's take the other aspect you were talking where all I got is, you know, that information, right? I'm a player. What you talking about, boy? You know what I mean? I got such and so and so. Yeah, you got 7 kids. You ain't making no money, right? You out here hustling. You got a nice car, and you trying to make kid number 8 because that's all you've been taught, right? So these stereotypes that we have in place, you know, I understand where they come from. I understand what racism and, you know, the broken homes and feminist and all of that. I understand that part. Now us fixing it takes us fixing it. So, you know, Brother Michael, how do you deal with when you understand or discover that a brother is can't read, or, you know, a father can't read? Because, you know, we deal with all types of fathers.
So Cal, I'm sitting here thinking about this, Cal. I'm putting an analogy to it. So I'm looking at a wounded animal, right? A wounded animal, a corner wounded animal, right? That corner wounded animal does not really know what your intent is when you're approaching, right? So he may strike out at you, attack you, or depending on how you approach him, he may soften up and allow you to help heal whatever it is that's wounding him, right? I look at a lot of our men in society as that way. We're wounded. We're wounded, man. We've had bad experiences with our women, with the court system, with the police, with the governor. Everybody that we come in contact with, we've had bad experiences with. We've gone away with our head lumped, with you know, our pockets shorter, jail time, so on and so forth. So all of these experiences that we've had have been negative, right? So I'm looking at men as a wounded animal, man. We are wounded. Some of these wounds are coming upon we're bringing them on ourselves, but some of them we are not. Some of them they're being brought upon us just simply because of the color of our skin and what we look like, right? So I think that's something that I think in continuing to highlight, continuing to uplift, continuing to promote men, I think it's something that we just have to continue to do on a grand scale, man. If it's something positive you're doing, we got to highlight that, man. I also think, Cal, the maturity of a man is very important as well. We all know some of the moves and some of the things that we were doing when we were younger. I wouldn't even consider doing that right now. You know, just some of the foolish things that we did as youth, as compared to being a man right now. So I think the maturity of the man has a lot to do with it. His responsibilities. If he doesn't have a whole lot of responsibilities, he's not going to mature as he should. If he's taking care of business, if he has a job, if he is paying child support, doing different things of that nature, he's going to mature a little bit quicker, and some of his decisions are going to be better decisions. And we're not making great decisions as men right now. I just feel like also, Cal, I want to touch on this last thing. What you said in regards to if it's not happening to me, if it's not right in my wheelhouse, right, it's not really a big concern. And we gotta throw that out the window, man. We got to throw that out the window. So say if I hear about something that's going on, Cal, and I know I can't use it, but I know you might, it's coming, man. It's coming ASAP. You know, as soon as it across my desk and I realize I can't use it, but this something Cal can, you got to have that. And we got to do more of that. We have to do more of that. Like you said, like I heard you say this, Cal, like you said, it's okay if it happened to another brother and it don't happen to me. And we got to lose that mentality, man.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off that real quick, Cal, because, you know, one of the things that I've had conversations was the reality factor. And I take it back in regards to my experiences growing up. I grew up in a two-parent household, okay? When I moved from the projects to the Northwest Side, the community I was there, all the black families, it was a two-parent household. I did not know what a single parent household was until I was in my late 20s. Single parent household, what's that? You know, unless one of the parents died or something like that, it's like, okay, it was always two. A lot of our males, their reality has only been one parent in that household. That's what they know. And here we are trying to show them, you know, dad need to be there. Well, my dad wasn't there and his dad wasn't there. You know, what are you talking about? You know, to educate them in regards to, you can not only on TV and movies, but you can have this. You need to understand in regards to the relationship that you created is not just I'm over here on, you know, Tuesdays and Thursdays with my baby girl, and then I'm shooting off because I'm gonna let her take care of the child and I'm gonna do my thing. Dude, two-parent household. Partner, 50-50 relationship, 50-50 responsibility, which I know is gonna kick on in your 50-50 deal whenever you got which, now I'm gonna tap on that, really, if the moms would understand, even in a 50-50, they get the better deal out of it. If you give me $50, I'm giving it right back to you to support. You know, think about it. It's the dad who's really giving it and hoping that basically the right thing is done. You know, we just want to try to make the playing field level. You know, I'm not suffering. I can be able to be looked upon from my child as, well, my dad is doing okay. He's not living on the bench somewhere. You know, he's not hustling. He got a nice home that I can come to. If the mom and the dad is not together, he can go to the other parent's house and live just as comfortable from the mom's house with no problem. You know, but like I said, it's all about that money thing, and that's what we have been ingrained in our minds, you know, who we are as leaders or supposed leaders of a family household. the sharing of responsibility, the things really I'm able to do. I'm able to speak up, even though I've been told that, no, you speak up, you're going to create an issue, you're going to create a problem, you need to calm down. It's like, no, I have a voice. Dads need to realize they do have a voice.
Well, they never had one. So that's really when you start looking at the dynamics, right? You know, and we talk about this. So let's roll into the fix since we're having this conversation, right? So let's look at it from this perspective. I'm growing up in that environment, right? And you grow up in that environment. I'm watching it happen to my own 16-year-old, who, right? You can see the transition. See, right? Dad, you at UAD, right? You got a different transition. Now you at alternative ed school, right? You went from, right? Now it's very little communication. You got to fight for it, right? And I see this in so many other young people. So the boy, without that figure, that information, like you said, right? In some cases, and we like to argue for a basically maybe a 17% success rate. Well, you know, he not in prison, or, you know, he not, so he all right. Like them words is okay for what potentially God has put in a young man is innovation, creation, communication. I mean, there's so many things in our young boys that get squashed in today's society. Is he becomes very silent. He doesn't say much. He doesn't take on much of a leadership role, right? So then all of a sudden you're told you're the man of the house. And so now you're doing things and you got this pressure on you, and all of a sudden now your grades is bad, right? But you can go to work. Meanwhile, that you're in the house, the daughter, she graduates from the University of Michigan. The son, he's at Belle Isle Tech. See what I'm saying? So it's the dynamics is off because the in-house role model is there for the girl, but the boy not so. So what is all this confusion with the boy, right? What's wrong, right? So now you tell him he's 20, he's a father. I was told to create this way. We still on slave stuff, right? So I was told to create this way. Now I got a child. And the first thing that I realized that I got this child is now they about to take me to the child support system. And the child support system, someone has already told me that the child support system is terrible. Well, what you gonna do? Well, I gotta get out here in the streets. So I'm gonna put a double blade on my back. So now I'm out here in the streets, right? And I don't know how to read. And I don't know how to really do math. I can calculate dope, but I can't calculate. And these are all stereotypes because not every 14, 15-year-old that becomes a father becomes a deadbeat. Like one of my young men is exceptional. You know what I mean? Then one of my fathers, he just was exceptional, paved his way, made a way for all his kids and worked his tail off. But these are exceptions. So when we see them graduate, these are exceptions. Let's talk about that 67, 80% that is in line for failure, where the father didn't have access or the father had to fight, or vice versa. There are some cases where the father has the child and they don't let the mother come around, right? So and being fair, let's do it that way, right? But the truth of the matter is the system that is in place, like you were saying with the child support system. What if we all decided that we didn't want to do child support and we just work together? What if 60% of us decided, you know what? We're not paying no money into the court. We're not doing no court-appointed lawyer. We're not doing none of that. We're going to work together because doing it that way has put our kids in front of court-appointed lawyers going to jail for several things. The juveniles full of them, right? So we understand now how powerful is the father because we've been very, very quiet. So I'm come back to, I'm gonna bring my man in. I'm gonna bring my man in. If I can get him to, if this thing work. Chris, you there?
Yeah, good brother. How you feeling?
Good. So
Good.
Good, thank you. So my point guys, is right that solution. How do we take this little moment, right, and really navigate ourselves for really helping where our voice gets louder in a unified tone, and we really take on the responsibility of these boys. We have a lot of men in these women's lanes. The women are, they don't need you in their lane. They need you in your lane. You know what I mean? So how do we really do that, brother Chris? How what does it look like for us to really say, you know, brother, I really got you. You know what I mean?
You know, I look at it from a couple of different perspectives. You know, there's the broader community perspective, and I'm one of those to say, you know, reach back in your own family, starting with your own family. Uh, all of us got nieces and nephews, and got nephews who are in trouble, who ain't doing right, and who we might need to scoop up. And we spend a lot of time mentoring kids who come to us, and it may be people in our own family who don't come to us for whatever reason, right? And so I like to start with my own family, man, letting my nephews know that I'm there for them. I got a nephew right now that just came up north with us, uh, about to have a baby. Now, he got a strong father in his family, but he gonna need, as we all know, a village. And it was a perfect opportunity. He wasn't ready to tell the family because of how everything went down. And I know his dad gonna stand behind him, but sometime him and his dad can't talk, right? He 27. And so it was an opportunity for me to be there and say, you know, whatever going between you and your dad, you can still come talk to me. I'm Unc, right? You know, I ain't your dad. I ain't gonna look at you. I didn't raise you. I'm gonna talk to you like man, right? Man to man, not son to man. So it's about wrapping our arms around our immediate village, and then being available sometimes for the kids right outside our front door, you know, on the block, seeing a man cut the grass, seeing a man take care of his daughter, uh, seeing a man helping them earn money. I used to pay the kids on my block. See, a man earns his own money, and he does it honestly. And I remember when the gang set up a basketball hoop in a vacant house down the street, and all the kids was down there playing. I looked at that. I said, I ain't about to confront the gang. How can I counteract that? So I started paying kids to do my yard, right? Paying them a little extra too, in case the gang was sliding something to them. You know, I'm trying to equal their price. But it's about wrapping around that village and letting kids and being that role model around what it is. You know, you can't, everybody can't reach everybody. There's kids that Calvin gonna reach that I can't reach. Calvin that kids that John and Michael gonna reach that I can't reach, and vice versa. But no, but understanding who you can reach and being available to talk anytime, and then honoring that commitment to these young men too, because they get enough disappointment as we move forward. We got to remember one thing about history is that it does take time, you know, and it takes baby steps. It's not going to change overnight. We are battling 400 years plus of this nonsense, right? This purposeful tearing down of the family, the tearing down of the male in the role, you know, and as God would have it, it's still blowing my mind. You know, I call myself a novice historian, but you know, I hesitate to say this is the black man's time, only because I've seen enough, you know, come and go. But right now, you know, I was looking at the young brother that at the for the NASCAR, who they put a noose in his car stall, right? Because he asked the NASCAR to ban the rebel flag, and they did. And then he just took a picture. They showed the kid breaking down crying, man, because all 40 racers stood behind him, said, we stand with him, and this is wrong. Now, you know, I ain't never seen nothing like that. And NASCAR is about as, you know, rebel flag as you can get in American sports, in a $1 billion sports industry. So in our time, man, is, you know, good fathers only, encourage me, I'm young, out of places that black men, we have to attract black men to that. And we have to stand up and step into our space, right? They're giving us the space now for a second, a moment, might be 30 seconds, might be 300 seconds. But you know, if you got 30 seconds where the foot ain't on your neck, step into that space and take, you know, and claim that space, you know, for Black men. I don't have any simple solutions, man. We've been doing the right things, but we've been swimming upstream, fighting against insurmountable odds. And we've been overcoming, but we've been overcoming, you know, in small steps. I know we want to make that quantum leap, right? But with that, man, there's no way, you know, we are communal people. We not pull your own self up by your bootstrap people. We need each other. You know, we are communal people. We survive by working together, even if we don't like it. Even if we get mad and argue, don't work with you for a couple of years. Still in my heart, I know that I'm gonna need that brother one day. So how do we keep peace with that? And I think our children need to see that as much as possible. We know other brothers that do it. We're not the only group that does it around the city. But I think to the extent that we can continue, man, to continue to press and use our individual resources, the places where all of us have a little bit of privilege, a little bit of access, how do we just continuously keep pouring that back to the community? You know, all of us have had tremendous opportunity to do things, and to the point that we can bring that back to the community, to our young men, all the way from firstborn all the way to 80, because we all need each other. At my age, I'm 54. I need y'all, and I hope I can be a service to you all as much as I'm being a service to a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old. Because you know, at every age is new. 54 is a new age to me. I ain't never been 54 before. So, you know, there's brothers out there that's got to guide me through it. But yeah, just, you know, I don't have any simple answers, man. But I don't think we're not on the right. I don't think we're not on the wrong track. I think if we can just accelerate what we're doing and try to bring more men to the table in love and keep doing what we're doing, God is on our side right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes, sir, Michael. I see your hand.
Look, I had to get technical on you, Cal's. I know I got to pull out in a minute, but I wanted to raise this last point before I got out. Cal, I think this is very important, man, for us too, Cal, because we are telling man to go get back in there, go get in there with the understanding that he knows what to do while he's there, or when he gets there, right? So if you grew up without a dad, you know, it's going to be hard to try to realize or figure out what it is that I need to be doing in this household as a man, in regards to leadership, in regards to leading the kids, in regards to leading the family, in regards to taking care of myself. If you haven't seen it, then hopefully you got a hold to a good TV program, and you can look at the you know, the role being played by someone. But now we got guys who didn't grow up with a father, right? Didn't have a dad, didn't have that blueprint, doesn't know really what's going on. If he ain't in the right age, he hadn't seen good times, which is gonna be the best depiction of what we going through right now. Right. Foot on our neck, hard to get jobs, the money ain't long enough, so on and so forth, right? So if he ain't seen that, then he really doesn't really understand the true struggle, other than the struggle that he's in. But like, what do we teach? I think that's something that we also have to take a look at. What are we teaching our men to do while they are there? Because a lot of our men are just gonna come home from work and sit on the couch and think he's supposed to get served. Well, I mean, we won't get into that. We know that's an issue. We won't talk about that another time. But we need to make sure that most of our men that we are trying to push to go back and be leaders in their families and leaders of their household have an understanding that the role modeling, showing your kids how you handle stress when you come home from work and you stressed out and had a long day and ain't no food on the table. How do you handle that? Your kids need to see that, because they'll eventually have to handle those same things, balancing work and family. These are things that your kids got to see from you, and the only way they're gonna see it is by you being there. Cal, I think some of the things that we're talking about, they're not necessarily the things that we learned with no dad. They were learned. They weren't necessarily taught, and you can't learn them if you're not there.
No question.
If you weren't taught it, if you weren't taught this stuff, and you're not in the fight, then you'll never learn it, man. You'll never learn it.
Yeah, we gotta teach. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
No, I totally agree with you. You know, one of the things is we are, and is due to society, we are so into protecting our sons when they come into the world by telling them, hey, this is what you can't do. You gotta work twice as hard. We hitting on every negative aspect in regards to what they got to overcome, but we're not there to say, you know what? I believe in you. You're gonna be the best thing that's coming out this household right now. Whatever you put your mind to it, you can do it.
That's
We
right.
are so faced with, I mean, taking regards to learn how to drive a car. We're not just telling them, you know, you get to the corner, make sure you slow down at a good pace and make sure you stop, you look both ways. We're saying when you get stopped, we already give them the expectations, oh, you're going to get stopped just because of the color of your skin. Right. You know, it's so much that we basically trying to warn them about, in fact, without hearing that, you know, just guess what, dude, I got your back. You know, I tell my son and my daughter, I said, guess what? I don't love you because you owe me some money. I don't love you because, you know, hey, I'm expecting something back. I love you because, hey, I'm your father. So my son, you know, with all of them, all of them is like, you ain't got to reach out to the gang talking about we fam, dude. I'm going to be your fam, good, bad, or indifferent.
Right.
My daughter, I don't care who you meet. You know, I ain't after nothing. I love you just because. You know, we have to start voicing that. We have to put that into our dads and, you know, that we talk to. These are the things you need to communicate to them. You will show them the hard work by doing it. If they look up to you, they're like, my dad cut the grass every Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, finishing at 11. Hey, that's your expectations. That's what I've been used to doing. You know, holding the door. That's what I'm used to doing. Speaking my thoughts in regards to believing in what I'm doing. Watching my dad read. Wondering why he had the newspaper. See, they've taken so many things away from us that we don't get to see that. I mean, we've become such a visual society now. You know, seeing them read, like, okay, you know, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pretend to read initially, but then I'm going to learn how to read as we go on. You know, those positive influences, we have to push that in our dad's lives.
Well, yeah, and throw the tech desert piece in there, right? Where our tax dollars, where we're not, right? So using the words, like you say, let's use our words, because I got solutions all day. I could throw a bag of them at you right now, off the top. You know what I mean? So, you know, having solutions and having a solution mindset, I guess I'm weird because, you know, for me it's a lot of this, it's a lot of this, it's a lot of this, and the solution is hard to see, although it's being painted, like Michael said, and like Chris said about going down the line. So it's being painted and the outcomes are there, right? So you just keep painting it. But the truth of the matter, exactly, train them up. You're right, Adrian. So the truth of the matter is, like you said, I always say when your words, your deeds, and your actions line up, God is in the midst. You see, when you line them three up, because your words was having a conversation, and the guy was, you know, he was, oh man, you know this, and you listen to him, oh man, you know they ain't gonna never let you have. I always ask the question, can you tell me who the hell is they? You know what I mean, right? Like, and so, and they always, you know, first thing they do is, I understand because we go to what has been conditioned in us. So we go to that piece, right, about who and what, when and where and why. So that's our conditioning. But when do you start factoring, right? Men are processors, right? Where you could say, take the garbage out, Michael, and it'll take Michael 30 minutes before he even moved because Michael is thinking about a project or he's solving another mystery that he's seen or he's, right? We're constantly processing. Yeah, I heard you, right? You know what I mean? I heard you. I'll get to it in a minute, right? And then once our words line up with that process, our actions and our deeds take over. So just like you are the Children's Center, all the things you do, just like you are your program, all these things, just like Chris. See, our words, our deeds, and our actions have lined up. So getting other men to understand that, right? Because we all been taught to be these individuals, right? I'm not big on the king talk, right? Throw the king talk out for me, right? Because I'm just not big on it. Because the king, they sit on the edge, right? And so a king is sitting and he tell people what to do, right? And if it's chess, you a pawn. You the front line. We can throw you away, right? Because everything is centered around that king, right? Right? But you need them pawns with that queen to shut down that king, right? You need them pawns, right? If you're playing chess, the rook only go a certain way. You know what I mean? So we have to really be strategic in unifying men and fathers. Whereas for me, I'm trying to make you feel your very best. When you put on a Good Fathers Only shirt, I want you to feel your very best. It has changed people. I got stories on top of stories, right, of what it really means. Once you get an understanding of like that, we just did one with my son's girl. I can't wait to hear it. The father was in the basement. Every day he come home from work, he go in the basement drinking. He ain't came out the basement, right? So we plant seeds. She tell her dad, I love you. Then she hit him with the Good Fathers Only shirt. I guarantee you he come up out that basement, right? Because he got to ask why. Another mother and a son knocked on the door, the father in Flint. The father wouldn't come down. She taking the son up to Flint. They show up at the door, the mother and the son in the Good Fathers Only shirt, and drop him off. Next thing you know, conversation leads to one thing. Now he at the school. 3 weeks later, let me pick him up. 4 weeks later, maybe he should stay with me and go to school with me and take that burden off your hands so I'll take care of him. Just like that. So we do have the necessary tools as men in the circle to make these things go, right? And like Chris was saying, it takes synergetic men. It takes us. Same for Michael, same for John. It really takes us showing up at the same time, same face. And when we hit a room, everybody take a section of the room, and we don't leave that room till we banged it. That you knew that, okay, these 4 men came. So when we've been doing Good Fathers Only memberships and things like that, all I ever wanted the men to do was come in, now take over. You run a chapter in your area. You run a chapter. All we're going to do is govern it, but take over. Let's go. We're going to train you, get you all these things, but take over, right? We in Atlanta, okay, take over. But people have a certain mindset that if it ain't mine, that's the part of the slavery and the poor mentality and that we have to get out, right? If it ain't mine, oh yeah, Cal, yeah. Because people act like the streets don't talk. Where I come from, Michael, where we come from, the streets talk. So you talking, people gonna come back, tell you, I don't get into that. I let it fly. You know what I mean? Whatever. Because I'm beating your, right? I'm coming. And we relentless about it. So and in that case, I'm saying to you all that we be the ones that take those steps. I wanna have this conversation again on the 29th, where it's us. What's next for fatherhood? That's next Monday. What's next for fatherhood? Right? How do we improve fatherhood? What steps? Right? And I want to have some men, invite any man you want to invite. But next Monday, I'll send it out. John will have it. Chris will have it. Right? And we figure out what's our next steps for fatherhood. Because right now, society is looking for someone to lead fatherhood. And I'm saying it's us. I've heard it too many times that fatherhood has to have a leader. Ken Braswell is doing his thing. Mike Morrissey is doing his thing. You got several other agencies. They're doing their thing. I was on a call in Baltimore. They're doing their thing with the fatherhood advocacy, and they, doing their thing. I was on another call, 7 million, right? They're doing their thing. Now, how do we unite that? Teach other men business? Like we literally got a program where we can take a man from the beginning to the end, right into business. We can't execute it because as soon as you approach the funders, they want you to kiss the ring, bow down, call them Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know. You know what I mean? So we ain't really, so we're gonna figure that piece out. But that's a huge thing, because men being in business means that they can take care of their families even better. And then now we can hire some of those men that are out there. So us being able to facilitate that, making sure that the man has an opportunity and can go into this job and provide for his family and trust us. So with that being said, gentlemen, your last words, Michael, before you go.
Cal, just like what you just said, I piggyback off the fact of, for example, I look at Good Fathers Only, right? And I look at you, and we the same. And I can look at you and see the success of Good Fathers Only and realize that I can get an organization off the ground. I can start a business, right? And I'm seeing that. I acknowledge that through seeing you, through watching Willie, through watching other men that I know who have gone ahead and done this. So my confidence not only comes through what I know I'm able to do, but in seeing my brother do it. And I think that is going to be something that's going to be a factor in us moving forward in regards to what's next, and helping these men understand that what we're talking you about or telling you about is something that can be done, man. It is something that can get done.
Thank you.
But I definitely, Cal, we got to show them, man. They got to see it. If they see it, I believe, you know how we are. We got to see it to believe it. And I think as we show more, I think the believability for the rest of these men will come into play and be more of a factor.
Okay. Brother Chris?
Hey, man, I concur with all that you said, what Brother Michael said, man. We just, as Black men, we have to continue to live our best lives and live our truest selves, so that our young brothers can see us both in our success and in our challenges, and know that they're being able to overcome the challenges they live in, so they can see us in our true self, and be honest and be open with the young brothers and with each other as we can. Just so that we can get out of the facade, get out of the mask, and be the true and real Black men that we are, and to continue to work together, man. Wherever we find an avenue, find that agency that's advocating that, or that person or those organizations that are advocating that which resonates with you, and then involve yourself in it and be a part of it and help it grow, and be willing and open to work together whenever the opportunity arises.
Okay. And that brings us, Brother Chris, to the Fatherhood Connection.
Right. Both of y'all done took the words right out of my mouth. But hey, the biggest thing that I feel really is you have to believe in yourself. You know, yes, we need the support of our family. We need the respect of our family. We need to respect and give back the respect of our community. You know, media has broken us down to, when there's a problem, the microphone, the camera is in front of the mom, you don't even see a dad around. You know, we have to reclaim that which was our rights in regards to being a leader of the household. But we, in our position, have to be there to promote and provide, whether it's through verbal leadership, whether it's through leading by example, as we do. We have to show them that, hey, dude, I believe in you. But if you don't believe in yourself, then, you know, the struggle is going to always be hard to overcome. It's going to always be struggle. But to be able to say, hey, you know what? I got the mindset now. I know what the policy says, but I got the mindset. And that's part of the mindset we're going to have to change in regards to the rest of society, too, to see us as a viable piece of not only our community, but our household and our families. And I want everybody, I know this is a shameless plug, but Thursday, June 26th.
Right. That's what we're
Wayne,
going
the 8th annual Wayne County Fatherhood Initiative Fatherhood Forum from 9 to 1. Opportunity to pick up some more information, to hear some dynamic speakers, but to hear about those agencies that's supporting what we do and how we're trying to work with them.
With the keynote is Brother Anthony Adams, our friend and brother. And that's Friday morning, right?
Yes, sir. Mama said yeah, Friday. I'm so used to Thursday because we've done it for the last 7 years on Thursday.
Right.
It's Friday.
Yeah, Friday morning, 9 to 1.
Yes, sir.
Zone and popping on Zoom. We're going to be banging it from everywhere. We in the studio with it. I got you. We're going to be talking about it for the rest of the week. To close, gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate your sincere candor and honesty is most definitely welcome and needed. I love it. I love it when we know there's no bull in the room. It's all men. Discussing, solving, and caring for one another. I love that. And so I'm gonna leave you with this. Remember, beautiful is the only way to say family. Fathers are the most important tool to a healthy family. And our community has suffered far too long without us valuing and appreciating us as fathers. So I'm gonna tell you for the rest of this month, gentlemen, like me, I've been shopping, smoking cigars, doing my thing. I'm celebrating me because I know regardless to the games, I'm a good father, right? And I know that because my son, my oldest, and my youngest, they have told me so. With that being said, my name is Kelvin Mann, president and founder of Good Fathers Only and Encourage Me, I'm Young. John, we will not forget your fatherhood forum. This event has been brought to you by Campaign for Black Male Achievement and United Way. Gentlemen, I love you and good night.
Love you as well, brothers.